Guys, I know I said we were going to finish the Sidam Bosconian project in the last video, and well, it didn't happen. It didn't come together, and I'm sorry, but I know, I can guarantee you that we finish it in today's video. And how do I know? Well, I'm recording this segment at the end after it's all done, and it looks great. And if you want to see how it all came together, how it finally came together, you're going to have to watch this entire video. So if that sounds like fun, why don't we head out to the garage and get started? Let's go!
Overtime!
All right, we're back out in the garage, and here it is, once again, the very unusual, at least in the US, Italian-made version of Bosconian by Sidam. And yeah, in the last episode, you know, we did a few different things. We fixed the wiring, we got all that sorted out. We put a new switching power supply in the cabinet. We replaced the monitor. It had a Hanterex monitor missing the chassis. And we also tested out the Akari Warriors 3 PCB and the SNK LS30 rotary joysticks that were installed in this thing. And that was all good to go. And there's only really a few more things we have left to do to this cabinet to get it ready. And I'm not really doing a cosmetic restoration for this thing. You know, between the last episode and now, I put the bezel back in the cabinet. I gave the whole thing a bit of a wipe down. But you know, really all that's left to do is we got to get the joystick situation sorted out. We got to install the BitKit PCB that we're going to put in here and get that programmed. And we need to replace the, the marquee, obviously. But I want to start by looking at joysticks. So as you can see on this control panel here, it's set up for basically a two-player JAMA configuration with 2 joysticks and 3 action buttons per player, and then a player 1 and player 2 start buttons. And this is really a weird sort of setup. I think I talked about this a little bit before, but this control panel is so strange, right? So it's got your classic, you know, signature ashtray that every Sidam cabinet, you know, control panel that I've ever seen has an ashtray in it. But this is obviously not the setup for Bosconian. And, you know, I really do think that this bezel, this sort of cardboard bezel in here is not for Bosconian. Obviously, the side art is from Bosconian, and that's absolutely original. So I don't know if they put, I don't know if this is like a generic Sidam bezel or if it's for Magic Worm or whatever. But this control panel is weird, right? So I have seen what I believe to be Sidam Bosconian CPOs where there's or control panels where there's a single joystick in the middle and then just a button or whatever. And there's usually with Sidam cabinets, player 1 and 2 start buttons or 1 player and 2 player start buttons on the front and, you know, minimal artwork. And so this is like, it looks like a replacement. Now, this hasn't been hacked up for the conversion to Akari 3 because this control panel, this metal control panel, all the holes and everything, they look factory. They don't look like they've been added later or drilled or, you know, an operator sort of hack job. This thing looks like it's a factory control panel. And in fact, I found some other pictures online of cabinets with, Sidam cabinets with this exact control panel setup, sort of black texture with a ashtray in the middle and the buttons like this. So I don't know if this was, you know, mass produced somehow or sold as part of a conversion, or maybe Sidam themselves offered this or what, but I've seen this setup before. So yeah, but and what, you know, what's nice about it though is I'm going to use, like I mentioned, a BitKit2 PCB in this from CraftyMech, you know, an FPGA-based emulation board that runs on JAMA. And, you know, we're going to use a horizontal sort of setup because this is a horizontal monitor. And so having, you know, a 2-player setup is good. I don't know how many 2-player simultaneous horizontal games that BitKit currently supports, but I'm sure it'll be adding more in the future. So we're going to basically use this setup, you know, 3 action buttons because, you know, JAMA supports up to 3, I think maybe even up to 4 buttons per player. Most don't use more than 3. But these joysticks don't really make sense for what we're going to use them for. You know, Bosconian is an 8-way game, and technically these are 8-way joysticks, but they're also rotary joysticks, and so you can twist the joystick and turn your character on the screen like in Akari Warriors or Akari 3 in this case. And these are working, but again, it's a waste to leave these joysticks in the cabinet because these are actually somewhat valuable. If you have a rotary game, you really need to use rotary joysticks for them. And I'm going to be selling the Akari 3 PCB with the joysticks. So if anybody is interested in that, please reach out either in the comments, or you can find me on the Claw forums or the members only Discord or on X, formerly Twitter, that sort of thing. But yeah, I wanted to put different joysticks in this cabinet. My original idea was to use an actual Bosconian joystick like from Bally Midway, right? So even though this is not a Bally Midway cabinet, the 8-way joystick used in Bally Midway Bosconian cabinets, I thought that would be great, right? And because there aren't a ton of 2-player simultaneous horizontal games currently supported by the BitKit, I figured I could put an 8-way joystick over here and a 4-way joystick over here, kind of wire them in parallel so that they're both the player 1 joystick. And that way I could easily play, 8-way games with no problem, and 4 or 2-way games with no problem. Because if you try to play a 4-way game, or a game that uses a 4-way joystick, but instead you use an 8-way joystick, you're going to run into problems, right? If you've ever played Pac-Man or Ms. Pac-Man, for example, with an 8-way joystick, you know what I'm talking about. You sort of miss turns, it gets all screwed up. And so by doing that, wire an 8-way joystick here and a 4-way joystick here, wire them in parallel, basically. You could just use whatever joystick makes sense, and you can easily use a 4-way joystick for a two-way game. So that was my original plan, and what I was going to do was put a Bosconian joystick on this side and a Pac-Man or Ms. Pac-Man joystick on this side, because that's a 4-way joystick, and they look the same from the outside, but I would know, maybe I would have to tell people that came to visit, like which to use depending on which game. And that was my original plan, and so that's what I sourced over here. So right here we've got 2 joysticks, and from above they look relatively similar. The one on the left is a Bosconian joystick from Bally Midway cabinet, and the one on the right I believe is a Ms. Pac-Man joystick. I got the Bosconian stick from channel member Dillweed. Thank you very much, Dillweed. Taylor, aka Taylor. And this one, I don't know if it's mine or if I got it maybe from Jeremiah Jackson, I'm not sure. But from above, these things look very similar. You can sort of tilt them and look at the mechanisms. They look, quite similar construction and everything. The big difference, though, is the Pac-Man or Ms. Pac-Man joystick has a 4-way restrictor, that sort of red metal or red plastic sort of plate. And the Bosconian joystick has a 8-way restrictor. And so you can actually, tilt the joystick, hard to do with one hand while I'm holding the camera, tilt the joystick and it will engage both switches, when you're going on a diagonal. But with the restrictor on the Pac-Man or Ms. Pac-Man joystick, it's hard to see, you can't actually engage both leaf switches when you pull it at an angle. So that was my plan, and I got these joysticks and I figure I'm good to go. But then I come to the cabinet over here and I open it up and I have some issues. So this is actually a pretty small control panel setup, and yeah, it's not going to fit. So no matter which way I orient this thing, and I could always wire it up, whatever direction, it's just not going to fit. It's too tall to go this way. It'll actually won't even fit, and it'll interfere with the start button up there. And if I turn it like this, it'll interfere with at least the first button over there. It's just not going to fit. Like, look at this thing. These joysticks are huge in the mechanism, and yeah, there's just no way I was going to be able to mount that. So that was very frustrating, very disappointing. So I had to come up with a different game plan. So I was reviewing my options. I went through my big collection of random assorted joysticks that I have, and I really didn't see something that I wanted to use. So I went online, I checked a couple places. Paradise Arcade is actually really good for lots of different sort of modern joystick solutions. And the first thing that I went with was this. Got it right here. Get it out of the plastic. So this is and there goes the dust washer. But this is a relatively inexpensive joystick that they sell. I think it's from Samitsu. Is that what it says? Yeah, it's a Samitsu joystick. And whoa, the camera's going crazy. And so this, nice cheap joystick, seems okay. It's supposed to come with a black ball top that they forgot to include, but that's no problem. And what was cool was this actually has different restrictor plates built in. So it's currently got the 8-way restrictor on, and you can sort of unscrew it and slide it. And this is the 2-way restrictor right here, and this is the 4-way restrictor. So you can change it based on what game you want to play. Install that. Figured I'd install 2 of those in the cabinet and not do any weird wiring or whatever, and just be able to change from 4-way to 8-way depending on the games I wanted to play. But like you saw, it does require tools, just a simple screwdriver to change it, so you really can't do it on the fly. So that's what I got, and then I thought better of it, and I was talking with the guys on the channel member Discord, and Uncle Tiggy, suggested actually going with this joystick instead. So it's a bat top, and I think actually the bat top is more similar to what the Sidam Bosconian used back in the day. It was some sort of weird Japanese or European joystick. But what's cool about this is this mechanism can be changed without tools. So either you open up the control panel and you pull this up, white plastic lever, and it has a rotatable restrictor inside there, that other sort of metal or a white circle sort of thing in there, and you can switch it from 4-way to 8-way, but you can also do it without opening up the control panel. And I really can't do this with one hand, but basically you pull the joystick up and twist it and push it back down, and you can rotate the restrictor plate without opening up the joystick, without opening up the control panel, without any tools. And this is a little bit more expensive, but it's a better built joystick. I think like these other ones are actually very low cost, right? And these are a little bit more robust. And I liked the idea of being able to, on the fly change the restrictor plate. And so I got them, and I was really excited. And I went to kind of dry fit them, and I ran into another problem. You can probably sort of see it right here. That hole pattern that's on the cabinet, on the control panel, will not fit this mounting plate, right? So by this way, it's sort of a match, vertically, but horizontally, the holes on the control panel are significantly wider than the holes on the mounting plate. And that's my fault. I should have checked that, but that just wasn't going to work. And I've actually got the rotary joystick from the left side, the one-player side, off, so you can sort of see how much wide it's these outermost carriage bolt holes are the ones to use, and you can sort of see just how much wider that hole pattern is. What I could have done and should have done if I thought about it is Paradise does sell universal mounting plates, so you can kind of unscrew this and put a new one on. It has all these sort of different carriage bolt hole patterns, but yeah, I forgot to do that, and I was impatient, and this thing is gonna slide off, isn't it? We'll put that right there, maybe. So instead of doing that, instead of buying them, I just made some of my own. So I just got some, I think it was 16 gauge steel, and I cut it to size, actually, with this new tool I got, a jigsaw, Black & Decker jigsaw. I actually got this from my kids, believe it or not, for Christmas. And you can see it's got a metal jigsaw blade in there. And yeah, so I traced the outline out of the 16 gauge sheet metal, cut it with the jigsaw, and used a drill bit. And you can sort of see some of these holes are not perfect, but it's okay. And it fits both the hole pattern of the control panel, which looks like this. It's kind of funky to do all this with one hand. So that lines up, even though it doesn't look perfect, that works totally fine. And then the inner holes match up with the screw holes to mount the joystick mechanism onto the mounting plate. And then the joystick shaft goes through this hole. And so that'll be great. And I've actually got one disassembled and sort of reassembled over here. So I took the original mounting plate off, and my new one that I basically fabricated, and the joystick slides back in like this. So we'll be able to mount these joysticks and use them in this cabinet. So yeah, let me go ahead and do that. After all of that explanation, I'll go install these sort of interchangeable 8-way, 4-way joysticks from Paradise Arcade. Check the link down below if you want to get some of your own. I'm going to go ahead and install these in the cabinet, and then we'll be able to test them and make sure I've got the wiring all set. Okay, I've got the joysticks installed right here. As you can see, I have the dust washers on top of the control panel. You could theoretically mount them underneath the control panel, and often that's what you want to do. But there really isn't space the way I've got these sort of set up to do that. They'll bump into the screws sort of sticking out from the mounting plate. So let's go ahead and just test these real quick. Put a couple of credits on, and I'll start a two-player game here. We'll just make sure that everything is wired up properly and we can move up, down, left, and right on both joysticks. Obviously, we won't be able to rotate the characters, so here we go. Left, right, down, and up. All right. I think that works. Left, right, down, up. All right. Okay, let's turn off Akari 3. And unplug it, and we can install our BitKit PCB. So I'm going to spin the cabinet around so that we can get in here and do our thing. Again, this Akari 3 PCB and the rotary joysticks, I'm going to make them available for sale. So if anybody's been looking for that game, or those joysticks, or both, give me a holler. So here we go. Once again, we're looking at the back of this Sidam cabinet, and I'm just going to unplug things. These are the harnesses for the rotary joysticks. I'll actually take these all the way out right now. Put those off to the side. Obviously, that'll be included. Whoever buys the rotary joysticks. And we have our funky looking homemade, not by me, JAMA adapter. And the Akari 3 PCB is on this sort of wooden tray thing. This is just all homemade right here. So we'll slide this out. Come on. All right, here we go. So that's nice and out of the way. And here is our lovely little BitKit2 from Crafty Mech. You've seen this before. I put on a couple of PCB mounting feet, and we'll find a good spot for it. Oh, that's all dusty. Let me clean that off real quick. Okay. I've only done a cursory sort of job of cleaning this thing, but that's all right. Oh, kind of breathing in dust. All right, let's sort of see where we want to mount this sucker. Obviously, it'll need to be somewhere that the JAMA adapter can reach. Maybe right there. Okay. Got a screw here. This is sort of an awkward position. Okay, and I'll start by sort of reverse. That way it starts a hole. Okay. And I guess that'll go right there. This will reach, no problem. And our other screw. Okay. Here we go. The BitKit2 is mounted. And we'll attach the JAMA adapter. Okay, that looks all right. And now I want to go ahead and position this so that you can see the screen and my laptop where I've got the BitKit software ready to go. So you can sort of see both screens at the same time. So let me go and set that up with the tripod. Okay, I've got the Sidam Bosconian cabinet with the BitKit2 installed, obviously, right over here. And over here is my MacBook with the BitKit2 application ready to go. And I know I've shown this before, but I just wanted to sort of go through how to set up a BitKit, show you the whole process from start to finish. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the power switch, and you'll see what this looks like coming up for the first time. I imagine it'll sort of be sideways because it assumes a vertical setup until we tell it that we're actually working horizontally. And there we go, we have it coming up. And I should now be able to connect. So I'll hit the connect button on the app, and I will go and select the BitKit Wi-Fi network real quick. All right, so I'm connected now, and I should just hit the password BitKit2. Did I type it in right? I think that's correct. So let that connect. Okay, looks like we have a BIOS update available. So we'll go ahead and new firmware. Please update BIOS to enable firmware update. So we'll go ahead and update the BIOS real quick. Okay, have to exit and restart the app, so we'll do that. Okay, we've restarted and we're reconnected. So we'll go in and update the firmware. So this will take a little bit. Okay, we're just finishing up here. And actually it got stuck on file 15 of 29 for a few minutes. And like it said in the manual, I just sort of rebooted and restarted. It picked up right where it left off, which is also what Aaron, aka Crafty Mech, told me to do in his own support Discord. And I gotta say, as somebody who does something kind of similar for a living, nothing at all related to arcade machines, but like technical, user manuals, that sort of thing, Aaron's stuff, Aaron's support, Crafty Mech support is incredible. So extremely professional. Firmware update installed. So I think we're ready to go here and add some games. So I'll click on games right here, and I will add some games. All right, generally speaking, I don't think YouTube really appreciates videos that show anything to do with ROMS. So I did that sort of step on my own. Leave it up to your own imagination, where to get them, where to download them. And then, the step that I skipped was basically pointing the BitKit app at those zip files. So we've got basically I'm adding all of the horizontal games that the BitKit currently supports that don't require some weird controller setup like a spinner or trackball or whatever. So we can go and add all of these, and so we're going to have 24 games. I think it supports 27 horizontal games total, so we're only losing 3, like Teeter Torture and Wacko would be cool, but anyway, we'll hit sync, and this will take a minute to upload all of the games. Okay, and here we go, uploading the final game. I've been trying to get the refresh rate sort of figured out with the camera. It doesn't seem to be really locking in, so apologies for that. But that black bar is only visible on the camera. And with that, we should be done, and we can go ahead and disconnect. And we're done with the with the laptop. So let's come in here and really focus on what we're doing with the BitKit and the menu. So I'm actually going to go and turn off the overhead lights in the garage just to make it a little bit easier. There's a ton of glare now. I can't really see. There's a ton of glare from the glass bezel, sort of with the angle, but hopefully you can see what's going on. Yeah, now we don't really have a refresh line. Let me see if I can make the brightness a little bit better. All right, I think that'll have to do. Can't really see what I'm doing, but I want to go in and change some things, obviously, and we will change it to horizontal mode. Look at that. Now I can actually see what I'm doing. Cocktail, we want off. Starfield, attract, credit sheet on. The credit sheet is what lets you hit the player 2 start button twice, and that will add a credit. Game select slot 1. Yep, slot 1. And let's see. We'll go back. And games. We will go and blue is boot slot, gray is disabled. How do I guess it's disabled by default for some reason. We'll make it our boot game. Okay, that's really important. Okay, so hopefully the colors are showing up. Gray means disabled, blue is our boot slot. So we want it to boot into Bosconian. And let's see here. How do we go to the next page? Oh, we'll go right for the next page. So you can see all the games that I've got loaded, and none of them are disabled. I don't know why Bosconian was disabled by default, but we can go back. Controls, let's see. Test player 1, button 2. There's up, down. Okay. Hold on. What is going on? Okay. We have button 1, button 2, button 1, button 2. Up, down, left, right, right. Yeah, it doesn't like that up, but that's okay. And we'll go back. We have to, at some point I might have to mess with that horizontal position. Can I change the vertical position? 4 looked good. Yep, okay. And crosshatch, we'll take a look at that. Ooh, we want to move to the left a little bit. Okay, we'll check out the crosshatch. I guess that's probably fine. And color bars, we'll see our color bars. Red, green, blue, looks good to me. Got a bit of a curl on this monitor, but whatever. Go back, and we will save all of that. All right, and now we can see all the games that we have loaded. We've got Domino Man, Pon Poco, Root Beer Tapper, Regular Tapper, Timber, Bosconian, which is what we want, Elevator Action, Flicky, Hard Hat, I'm Sorry, Jungle Hunt, Jungle King, whoops, Mousetrap, My Hero, Pepper 2, Don't Ask About Pepper 1, Pirate Pete, Pitfall 2, Sea Fighter, Sega Ninja, Sidetrack, Teddy Boy Blues, whoops, Time Tunnel, Venture, Wonder Boy. Back to Domino Man, but let's get to Bosconian. And actually, I'm gonna turn the light back on if I can do it without hurting myself. It's actually the LED, the green LED from the power supply is what's helping me navigate through my garage with the light off. But let's back up a little bit here. And so we can see the marquee. How's that? Okay. So, because I've got it set to boot to Bosconian, if I turn this off and give it a second, and we'll power it back up, it should boot into Bosconian. 3, 2, 1. All right. What does it do? Does it do what we want? Come on. It's not doing anything. Oh, wait, something's happening. I'm guessing this is the test sequence. Okay, we need to move to the left, all right? So let's do this. And we will go back to the menu. Okay, press to start for options. Video. horizontal 6, back, whoops. Yeah, this is not the BitKit that I'm having issues with, it's this joystick. So let's turn it back off. Give it a second. Turn it back on. And hopefully that's a good position for Bosconian, because the right side was cut off a little bit, so hopefully this will be better. Again, this takes a little bit to boot. In the meantime, I'm going to grab something that will be our really nice little finishing touch. All right. Let's see. I think that's fine. We've got a bit of a curl here. I am going to mess with this, the geometry on this monitor a little bit. But what I want to do is put our marquee in. So there's just these 2 bolts that I've already loosened on top. We'll pull these out. And come on. And again, like the colors of this marquee, which is like, there's a little bracket of this generic marquee. Come on. Oh, that's nice and bright. The colors of this like match all kinds of stuff, and you can just see how it was in the back. So maybe even this was sold, you know, as part of an official kit from Sidam. But here is our, get it out of the bubble wrap. Maybe needs to be cleaned up a little bit. But here is our completely legit, original Sidam Bosconian marquee, which I am very happy to be putting this onto the cabinet for the first time. It's a little, I think I need to loosen down here a little bit. Okay, just to get it to slide in all the way. I think it's just a little bit snug. All right, that looks good. Put the top back on. And yeah, there were actually quite a few folks that helped me out in tracking down a legit Sidam Bosconian original marquee. So thank you, everyone who was involved with identifying it and finding it and sending it to me. I got a great price. A lot of the arcade collectors overseas in Europe helped me out with this, so I am extremely grateful. And this thing actually came to me from Sardinia in the Mediterranean Sea, an Italian island. So how does that look? How does that look on camera? Yeah, that looks good. I am excited. So here's what I want to do. Man, that looks good. So I'm going to get set up with the tripod. We'll turn the lights off. We'll get all zoomed in, and we're about to play some Bosconian on my side in my Sidam cabinet running a BitKit2. All right, Bosconian. I'm hoping this is looking okay on camera. This is about as good as I can get it to lock in. In person, it's not as blurry. Like, up in the upper right-hand corner, the high score and stuff looks blurry on the camera, but it looks really nice in person. I think it's this glass that is messing with the camera. It's not sure what depth to focus on, but trust me, it looks great in person. But this is about as good as I can get it. The usual app that I use wasn't really cutting the mustard, and you can see I had a practice round. Now I'm using the native iPhone camera app, and you can see even it's having trouble locking it in, but everything looks great in person. So yeah, Bosconian, really cool game, developed by Namco. You can see this, yeah, Star Destroyer Bosconian. This is the ROM set from Bally Midway, as you can see by the copyright text there. Released in '81. Essentially, you are this starship, and you fly around in 8 directions, you know, blowing stuff up. You know, lots of different enemies and mines and missiles and asteroids and whatever. You can fly in any direction. Every time you fire, you shoot both in front of you and behind, which is helpful. And what you really need to do on each level is clear out these bosses, these bases. And you can either shoot out all of the cannons and then the whole thing will blow up, or you can shoot the eye in the middle there, and that's the sort of easy way out, but it's not the way to get the most points by destroying the enemy base. And you've got a map in the right-hand corner, that purple thing, it shows you where all of the enemy bases are. And essentially you need to clear out all the enemy bases to continue. And yeah, there's speech, and hopefully it'll show up on the microphone. My microphone's weird too. I don't know if the the sound is, the battery is dying or whatever, but let's go ahead and get started. So I'll do the credit sheet to put a quarter on, and away we go. Cool sounds, cool music, and yeah, Bosconian is a fun game.
Blast off!
Blast off, or whatever it says. So we'll fly around.
Alive!
Alert, alert! You can see how we shoot ahead and behind. The first round I'll go through and I'll try to destroy all of the turrets or all of the cannons. There we go, that's our first one.
Alive! Alive!
Alert, alert! You gotta watch out, these guys come at you fast sometimes. All right. You gotta be careful.
Battle station.
Battle stations, there was a formation coming at me. All right. A lot of stuff on screen. Unfortunately, you can hold down
Alive!
the fire button and get continuous rapid fire. You don't have to just keep wailing on the button. Okay. Almost. There we go. All three of the enemy bases, and we have cleared the first round.
Blast
And now we're into the second round, and from here on, I'll just go ahead and take the easy way out and shoot the eye, which is sometimes hard to hit, and it's not always open. You gotta get that narrow opening. Ooh, that was close. Oh, and I got hit.
Blast off!
But yeah, this is a fun game. And the joysticks are working fine for Bosconian. Other games that require maybe more precision, I don't know.
Alive!
But I do like that I can change. Okay. Oh, ooh, ooh. There we go. Two more left. I do like. Oh, here comes a formation after me. There we go. And those are faster, but I can turn better. There we go. And now one last enemy base. Gotta be careful.
Battle station.
Ooh. There, they got me. See, I can outturn them, and I wonder if, can I fly off the screen? Does it wrap around?
Alive!
It does wrap around. Okay, and I just earned a bonus life for 20,000 points. Okay. So I have, oh, formation attack. There we go. There we go. Cleared out that enemy base, and we are on to round 3. You can see we have 8 enemy bases this time, and they're sort of all lined up.
Alive!
And there we go. That's the first one. Second one.
Alive!
Third one.
Alive!
Formation attack. Watch out. Okay. And I think these are, nope. There we go. We're doing all right.
Alive!
Okay. There we go. All right. Here's round 3. And I've almost beaten my high score. Okay. I think those bombs will go off if you get too close. They're like proximity bombs. Oh. He was on my tail and I turned into him. But I beat my high score so far on this machine. There we go. And that's basically the game. Okay. Okay. Oof, oof. Uh-oh. Something happened. Crafty Mac, what is this? Did the game reboot? I guess the game rebooted. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe it's a bug in the game. I doubt it's, I mean, Bosconian's a relatively new addition to the BitKit, so maybe a little bug, but hey, I think that's okay. Let me actually switch the refresh rate real quick. So yeah, that's Bosconian. We'll figure out what's going on with that bug, but I'm sure it's nothing. Maybe I need to adjust the voltages a little bit, but I am super happy with how this project came together. Look how nice that looks, especially with that marquee. If this is your first time watching, welcome to the channel. I release new videos like this basically every Sunday. Sometimes they're late, sometimes on Monday, but every weekend, a new video about fixing, restoring, repairing classic arcade machines like this one, and this is certainly a weird one. A Sidam Bosconian cabinet made in Italy and somehow made its way to the US. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single episode. We got lots of stuff coming up, especially a lot of people have been asking about that Atari Star Wars right there. We got the Battlezone Cabaret we got to get to, and yeah, there's a Popeye here. I haven't talked about the Popeye yet, but yeah, hit that subscribe button, like, share, comment, do all those things. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do it is to become an Overtime Arcade channel member. You've heard me talk about this before. It's the best thing going. You want to join all of these folks who are not only intelligent and attractive, they're also extremely generous. In exchange for donating $1.99 a month, you get access to some awesome perks. Not only do you get early access to all new videos, not only do you get access to a monthly members-only live stream, you also get access, I know, it's awesome, to our private members-only Discord server. Super awesome, positive community. Everyone's constantly, helping each other out, working on games, sharing deals. We've got a weekly high score tournament. It's a super active, really awesome community. I'm so proud of it. I'm so happy with it. I love getting to know everybody. And yeah, unlike Clav, it doesn't go down for 12 plus hours at a time without warning, without explanation. So yeah, click that join button down below to join all of these awesome peoples in supporting the channel. And thank you all for your continued support. So yeah, I think that'll do it for this episode of Overtime Arcade. As always, I've been Charlie. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Overtime!